Of key importance is to understand the difference between a shadow and a thing which produced the shadow. Now, all of y'all that watched the movie Peter Pan, you watched poor old Peter as his shadow ran away from him. And Peter went and tackled the thing and wrestled it down and sewed it back to the bottom of his feet, so that shadow wouldn't get away from him. But the knowledge we have about shadow is kind of a left-handed proof of reality. For instance, on our planet here where we live, if you go out in the sunshine, in the places where they have sunshine, some places don't have very much sunshine, like where I'm at right now. But anyway, in the places that have sunshine, if you go out into the outside, the sun will shine against you, and behind you there will be the absence of light that would have normally struck the ground, but it was blocked by the substance. In consequence of that, behind you there is a shadow. Now, the shadow is not reality. However, the shadow indicates that there is some kind of a substance that has cast the shadow. So when you start talking about getting involved with fictions or shadow governments and all that kind of stuff, those can only be created because there is something real that casts the shadow. So, since the 1933 era, we have been doing business as a shadow government. And it's the absence of light that we deal with when we're working with the fictional shadow government. That being the case, we know that when dealing with a fiction, that we are not dealing with substance, but we have the absence of substance. So when you're dealing with the shadow government, you're not dealing with substance. See? Same thing back to the tithing with the green beans and so forth. That's how I demonstrated that the church I was attending was a fiction church and not a substance church, because they would not accept my tithe in substance. They wanted the fiction. So anyway, if you do try to introduce substance into a fiction, like I tried to do with the green beans, you're going to cause a problem because they cannot deal with the substance. So there has to be a different method to deal with the government. Now, in the fiction world, when it was determined to go into the double entry bookkeeping or a money of account situation rather than money of exchange, let me tell you the difference. We call substance money money of exchange because exchange implies consideration in both directions. However, when we start talking about money of account, which is simply only a bookkeeping entry, it's transfer. It's not consideration in both directions. So you have to start thinking about those things. But anyway, when we're dealing in the fiction world with the system accounting that we're dealing with here, we're involved with money of account, not money of exchange. And so that being the case, and of course we have to have a bond and a surety had to be put up to protect the creditors of the bankruptcy. Now, as we get into this a little bit more, I'm going to put a term on you, which is sponsor of the credit. And that is the men and women who labor. They are the sponsors of the credit, and they are the only parties that can create money. Government cannot create money. It is the people who create the money, especially in this system right here where the money system is completely dependent upon the good faith and credit of the people. So, in this case here, the bond that was put up so that we could go into this fictional system was basically an umbrella. In other words, it was a coverall, or what we would call a super sedeas bond. So this umbrella, or this super sedeas bond, was the guarantee or the insurance policy that a citizen would not have to pay with substance to another citizen. This is what the association of all the Americans rely upon, is the guarantee that no citizen will have to pay with substance another citizen. because all the accounting we're doing in the public, of course, is a double entry bookkeeping. All right, that guarantee was best embodied in what's known as House Joint Resolution 192 of June the 5th, 1933, and it's been codified several times, different places, and if you're interested, you can go look all that stuff up. Again, I very seldom ever look in what you call the law books. I look and see what's happening. I look and see what's going on, and that's what I base what I do on, not so much what's written in statutes and codes. However, HJR 192 was the indemnity provided from any future liability. Now, since HJR 192 was a guarantee that a debt cannot be collected in substance, it became the payment in fact. Now that's a crazy concept to even think about, but the reality that you cannot pay the debt is the remedy. It is the payment. So, when HJR 192 came into effect, then all of the public debts come under the prepay, and consequently all public debts are simply a function of double entry bookkeeping. And so the only problem really people have is they don't understand accounting, and they don't understand how to adjust those accounts so they can reach the zero balance.